Greetings and welcome to the Gamer Hobbit. Today we're covering perhaps the largest dimension mod out there, Advent of Ascension by Scimiguy. Advent of Ascension adds in 22 dimensions to explore, each with their own assortment of structures to uncover, mobs to fight, and challenges to complete. Not only adding in new dimensions, the mod also adds in dozens of bosses to summon and fight, weapons to attain, a skill system to improve your skills, a resource system, and plenty more. First things first, you need to find a ruined portal frame. Found deep within the overworld, these structures contain some ancient rock and a corrupted traveller. Giving the traveller any of the items that it shows will give you a worn book that tells you what you need to build the new portal frame, and a blank realm stone that shows all the dimensions within the mod and how to access them. With these two items and a bit of ancient rock, you will need to acquire 5 carved runes, 4 of which you will encounter by simply looting chests. And the 5th one, the carved rune of power, must be crafted with unpowered runes, ancient rock, and an eye of ender. With these materials, now you need to assemble the portal frame, which is built as shown. The carved rune of power must be in the center on the bottom. The other runes can go anywhere. You can't cheat your portal frame though, it won't work. For the portal to activate, you need to have your blank realm stone filled with the dimension, which must be completed by performing specific tasks. Once your realm stone is filled, simply right click it on the rune of power and your portal should light up. Within this mod, the dimensions are grouped into 4 tiers, which determine how far they are from the overworld. From the get-go, only 5 of the dimensions can be accessed through the overworld. For the other dimensions to unlock, you must complete certain challenges within other dimensions to gain access, such as eating a heart fruit in Bricasia to unlock Candyland. To be granted access to any dimension, you must have a blank realm stone in your inventory to complete the challenge. Some tasks are simple, such as killing a husk with a blank realm stone to unlock Barathos, whilst others require a more specific condition to unlock, such as Runador. Once your realm stone is filled, you can then finish making your portals in the overworld. Since your realm stone is filled with the current dimension, you may ask yourself how you can acquire another blank realm stone. To get another one, open the warn book you received earlier and you will get another one. With each dimension comes its own assortment of blocks, mobs, and structures to find. Some dimensions tend to stand out, whilst others seem a bit generic and bland. Within this mod, 35 bosses can be fought, all of which can only be summoned by the player. Although none of them need to be fought to progress, some are required to be spawned if you want to access other dimensions. Summoning the bosses are done by either using certain items on boss altars, or by throwing certain items on the ground and waiting a moment. The Hive King, for example, can be summoned by using a hive egg on a hive spawner within Barathos. Each boss has their own unique boss bar, all of which look amazing. Although most of the bosses in this mod either inflict a negative effect or heal themselves, some boss fights are a bit unique. The Skeletal Army, for example, is instead a boss fight where you fight 40 waves of various skeletal mobs. The further you progress, the harder the waves become. Killing any boss will drop a statue of themselves, some unique loot like the Sea Lord diving helmet acquired by killing a Dracon, and various items including coins and magic repair dust. Even though some of the bosses have some nice textures and even models, quite a few of the boss models and animations do feel a bit too blocky and stiff. The mod even features a resource and a skill system. Both systems are intertwined together to make your experience feel a bit like an RPG. If you want these displayed as HUD icons when playing, pressing O and F4 will display your resources and skills accordingly. The resource system are special resources or attributes that the player has which are vital for progressing throughout this mod. Battle Rage gives the player a chance to perform a critical strike on mobs, which can be increased by improving your butchery skill. Energy is used to fire blaster weapons. If low on energy, you cannot fire them. Creation is for summoning your own minions through minion slabs. Similar to energy, if you don't meet the requirements to summon minions, nothing will happen. Soul Power is for activating various tablets, which also drain your soul power a certain amount per second. With no soul power, you can't receive the effects. Different to the prior 4, tribute increases as you perform various duties to please one of 4 gods. Depending on which dimension you're in, you have to perform a different action to increase your tribute. For example, to please the god Ereborn, you must slay 50 mobs with melee weapons in the overworld, but when in the ancient cavern, you need to defeat 50 bloodsuckers. Filling any of the bars will grant you buffs, which can last for several minutes. However, performing other activities, sleeping, and dying can either lower or reset your tribute, so be mindful about your actions. When starting out, all of your skills will be at level 1. As you progress in each skill, you are able to level your skills up, which in turn improves your ability within said skill. Leveling up your logging skill, for example, will increase your chances of finding better loot when chopping trees down. Each skill has a maximum level of 100, but can be extended to 1000 in the config, indicated to the player by a golden border around the skill. Acquiring skill crystals can also be used to increase your skill levels, which can drop rarely from mobs. Using them will level up the lowest leveled skill you have, but can only be used when you have at least one skill at level 15, so you still need to grind your way a bit before you can start improving yourself. Not only will you receive better stats by leveling your skills up, but you are able to access content which was previously gated to other players, such as gaining access to special gear when hitting level 100 in any skill that can provide some much needed effects if you have the full set equipped. With a mod that provides dozens of new dimensions, bosses and mobs, comes in a large array of new weapons and armor to acquire. Not only does it add in an assortment of new swords and bows, but it also adds in several new weapon types for both melee and ranged, from great blades, scythes and mauls for melee weapons to various advent guns like blasters, archer guns and cannons, to volcanes and even staves. Most of the weapons also contain a bonus buff, which can assist the player for combat and non-combat scenarios. The candy blade, for example, can prove a handy weapon for combat, but can be eaten to restore your hunger at a cost of its durability. Most armor pieces also have bonus effects when equipped. Wearing a complete set of gear will amplify the effects to make you even more powerful. For instance, having any of the wither set equipped will reduce incoming wither damage, but wearing the complete set will negate all withering damage. Unfortunately, none of the new weapons have 3D models, but their textures look amazing. Even with all this new content, the mod adds in plenty of extra features. 7 special events can occur in the overworld, some during the day, whilst others at night, which shows a message when it has begun. During these events, exclusive mobs can spawn in, where you can fight them to level up and attain loot. Dozens of new mobs can be found within the overworld, nether and throughout the new dimensions, with some having mob attributes that make them immune to certain types of damage. A menu of Advent of Ascension can be accessed by pressing the delete key, showing you all of your current skill levels, tribute, whilst displaying both a guide tab and a bestiary tab that contain stats about every mob you've killed and more. If you are still unsure about how a certain mechanic works, or wish to figure out how to summon a certain boss, then the mod wiki can help you out with that. Advent of Ascension is quite the ambitious mod, providing heaps of new dimensions to explore, bosses to fight, and a wide array of loot to retrieve. What this mod offers in quantity lacks in quality. What feels like hundreds of mobs to find, many of them are repetitive and generic. There are plenty of dimensions to explore, but they feel shallow in biome diversity. What this mod shines, however, is its resource and skill systems, making you have to be at a certain level to be able to use a particular tablet. The boss bars are the most unique and best looking health bars I've ever seen, the huge array of weapons and armor, the method of unlocking other dimensions is a nice breath of fresh air, instead of just get this block and ignite it with this item. Regardless, having a mod of this scale is still quite the incredible feat, and can definitely be played with other Adventure mods, or even by itself. Currently, the mod devs are considering porting this mod to 1.15 and 1.16, and have plans to do 4 major overhauls to the mod, aiming to make them much more complex, rewarding and unique for the player. When the mod will receive these updates is up to the team, but I'm excited to see what future content they will bring to this humongous mod. Thanks to Scimiguy and the mod team for making such a huge and awesome mod, and link to download it is in the description below. And that is all for today. Thank you all for watching, and have a good day.